Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Anthony, and in today's tutorial, we're going to be diving into one of the most awesome tools in Photoshop, something I've been using for the last year, which is AI-powered editing. It really does take your workflow to a whole other level, and I haven't made a editing tutorial or a whole lot of videos in a while, so I figured why not start off this first editing tutorial with this awesome feature. I'm going to show you how it works and how you could use it in your workflow. A little bit of a background about me. I'm a real estate photographer and videographer here in Phoenix, Arizona. And this photo that you're looking at on the screen is from a recent photo shoot in Scottsdale, Arizona. Look at that backyard. It is just awesome. I could hang out there all day. Basically, I want to clean this photo up. There's a couple of things that kind of bothered me in the photo. Two very specific things. One is this umbrella that's right in the center of our view here. It kind of blocks out the pool a little bit in the landscaping. And another thing I don't like are these two chairs. They just kind of feel out of place. I'm definitely starting off with a little bit of a more difficult task, but we're going to give it a shot. So basically what we're going to do here in Photoshop is we're going to go over here to our lasso tool, I believe. And once we select on that, we're going to be able to basically circle a subject and then tell Photoshop what our intention is. So I'm going to go ahead and circle around this annoying umbrella here. There we go. I mean, it's not an annoying umbrella, but it's closed and it's not totally necessary. So now that I've circled the umbrella, we're going to go to generative fill, and generative fill is going to allow you to basically type a response or request for Photoshop. Basically, it says here, if you leave this blank, they will basically like try to guess what you want. With Photoshop, you can tell it what you want. So it's an optional tool, but I like to use it. So I'm going to tell Photoshop, remove the umbrella from the photo. And then we're just going to hit generate, and you'll see how quick it generates something. Now, it's not always perfect. It's, you know, something that is kind of newer still. So we'll see how it handles this request. And there we go. Just like that, the umbrella is totally gone. Now, as you can see, there's some imperfections here in the wall and in the pool wall right here. As you can see right here, it says 1 out of 3. So it generated 3 different options for you to choose from. So I'm going to click this arrow here to view the second one. As you can see, that looks a lot more cleaned up compared to the first one, which kind of extends the pool. And then the third option here, sometimes we'll add things to the photo. I don't like that. If neither of the options work for you, you can always click generate again, and then it'll try its best to generate again. And over here on the right side panel, it'll actually show variations. So you can still see those first 3 variations that it generated, but then it'll generate 3 more because I click generate again. So then I can go here and I can really see like which one works best with the original photo. And if I hit this little eye here, I can actually bring back the original objects that I can kind of see behind it what it did look like. And then I can go back and make a decision on which one we want to choose from here. It is important to show proper details, but I kind of feel like this first one works because, you know, it doesn't show a close-up of that part of the wall, and it's a wide angle shot, so most people are just going to look at the photo, especially on the MLS for real estate, and click next. So it doesn't have to be 100% perfect unless, you know, you're a perfectionist and you need it to be 100% perfect, but I feel like people wouldn't really notice that little imperfection there, at least the average person. And so now I've selected the chairs, and I'm going to tell it the same prompt, remove the chairs. Click generate, and this one should be fairly easier in my view because the background behind it isn't as busy as with the umbrella, but let's see. Okay, so beautifully remove those chairs, and honestly in that first variation I feel like that worked just fine. I'll look at the original photo real quick. So maybe that third one worked better. Let's see, original photo. Yeah, so the third one did work a little bit better. The details aren't 100%. To someone taking a quick glance on the MLS, that's going to be perfect. So now let's check out another photo that isn't as difficult, which is an interior photo. And I chose this one because it's not as difficult, and it's something that you might encounter if you're a real estate photographer or taking interior photos. So as you can see to the left here, we have this little oil scented stick thing. And then to the right here, we've got soap, and I want to remove both of these from the photo. Another reason why I chose this is because there is a shadow, as you can see right here. I'm going to deselect this real quick. There's a little bit of a shadow here, and what you might do by mistake is just highlight the object and ignore the shadow. And what I've found with generative fill and Photoshop AI is that if you ignore the shadow, it doesn't do as good of a job as cutting out the object as it would if you did select the shadow. So you always want to make sure, even if the shadow is small, like in this example, that you select the shadow of the object. We're going to go around it. Now it's selected, and we're just going to type in remove object, and it's going to be smart enough to know that the object I want removed is the one that's directly in the center of what I circled. So you can be pretty generic with your requests. Being too specific sometimes is too much for it. So I would just be as general as possible and direct as possible with your request. And as you can see, it removed the object. We'll check out the different variations. I actually think I like the third one best. No, maybe the first one. I'm gonna leave the first one. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the soaps. Select the soaps, and we're going to type in remove objects, and we'll see how it does with this one. Okay, so as you can see, it got rid of our objects, but it included an extra faucet here. So now we've got 3 faucets on a sink. I'm not sure what that third one would do. Obviously I'm joking, but we're going to check out other variations here. Oh wow, and the second variation, it actually connects the 2 faucets. Yeah, that's not gonna work either. We'll try the third variation, and look at that, the third variation works beautifully. So as you can see, you want to check out your different variations because you never know. As you can see, the first 2 were totally off base. We're going to go to an exterior photo, and this one I chose specifically because of the street. We've got a lot going on in this real estate photo. We've got garbage cans visible on the side of the house I was shooting. We've got debris on the roof. We've got cars in the street because there's a school nearby and the school was just getting out. We've got people on the sidewalk. We've got garbage day going on with garbage cans in the road. So this is truly like a crazy example here that we're gonna dive into and see if Photoshop AI can totally clean this up for us. And why don't we start with the garbage cans on the side of the house? That's super easy. We're just going to circle those. We're going to go to generative fill, remove objects. As you can see, the garbage cans are totally gone now. We can go through some of the other variations here, and I'm just going to go with the third one because it looks pretty clean. And then what we're going to tackle next is the debris on the roof. So what you want to do is you want to just circle every debris field here and then type in remove, remove roof stain. I hope that works. I'm just coming up with something off the top of my head. And unfortunately, you can't circle multiple objects at once. With that being said, you kind of just have to circle each one individually and come up with your own individual prompts for each one. It can be kind of annoying. I wish you could select multiple things at once, but keep in mind, this is relatively new software. And so the fact that it can already do all of this stuff is pretty incredible. I've always been a photographer, but never really the best at Photoshop. And as you can see here, I was able to Photoshop that stain right off the roof with ease just by typing in a prompt. So it's been able to, it's enabled me to be able to do more edits on my own without having to consult with my editor, which has been very awesome. So I've selected each one of those individually, and now this last one's getting removed. There are 2 little spots that I could see, but I've just wanted to remove the major spots. So as you can see, we've now taken care of those 2 roof stains. We've taken care of the garbage cans. That's all super awesome. But now we've got this roadway that's filled with cars. Not really concerned with cars in the driveways as much because that's like natural in a real estate drone photo that you would see those things. To have a road this cluttered is just way too much. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna handle these 4 cars right here first, as well as the people on the sidewalks and this sign all at the same time. We're gonna try to circle all these at once. So that's what I'm gonna do, including the shadows. I'm gonna come in a little bit here so that I can be more focused on what we are trying to get rid of. We're just gonna go around this last person here very carefully, around this red car, and then connect them just like that. So what I'm gonna type here is remove the people and cars. And we'll just hope that it gets rid of that sign too. But if not, we can go back and readjust our prompt. So let's hit generate and see what happens. And just like that, it's got rid of the people, the cars, and that sign. But what it did do is it messed up our little speed bump here. And in the second variation, it looks like it could have fixed that. So let's see. It's better. The lines on the speed bump aren't exactly the way I'd like them to be, but I'm just going to go with the second variation because it's close enough. Little detail like that, you know, it bothers me, but maybe we can fix it later. Let's just focus on getting rid of our cars right now. So let's get rid of this van, this girl. We'll get rid of this red car. Got really close to it. I hope that's okay. And just like that, we've circled our things. So we'll do remove cars and person, generate. All right, and just like that, it got rid of the cars and that person. And we're gonna check out the second variation, check out the third variation, and I think I'm gonna go with the second one again. So we got rid of our cars on this side. This speed bump looks crazy, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna remove it because who cares? It's not that big of a detail. It just looks sloppy. So remove speed bump. Okay, the speed bump's gone. I'm gonna check out the second variation and the third variation, and I'm gonna go with the third. Honestly, it looks so much cleaner already. The front of the house doesn't look like there's a lot going on. Just, you know, typically there's not a lot going on in front of this house. It was just the time of day we had to shoot. So now I'm gonna get rid of these garbage cans. We'll do that real quick. Remove garbage cans. All right, those garbage cans are now gone. And now I'm just gonna remove this car, these two cars, this garbage can, and then these two cars. So I'm gonna remove these cars first, and then I'm gonna remove these objects here. And I'll kind of show you how that works when they're half obstructed. But first, let's just get rid of these because they'll be easy peasy to do. This one in the back, this car is kind of half obstructed. So as you can see, I'm just going over the tree a little bit because I wanna like basically encompass the back area of where that car would be, so Photoshop AI can see what I'm trying to get rid of. So I'm gonna type in remove objects this time. Not even gonna type cars or garbage can, just remove objects. And there you go. As you can see, those general prompts really do work well. I went with the second variation on this one and it looks just so much cleaner. I just love how this looks right now. So now I'm gonna select the last two cars that we're going to get rid of. And as you can see, I went way over where the car actually is because I'm trying, like I said in the other one, to encompass the area where the car would be if those branches weren't there, so that the AI can be smart enough to know, hey, I need to get rid of this object. Instead of just doing part of the object, then it might be a little weird because there's pixels that are really in there that we can't fully see, where it might still show the car and then the photoshopping isn't as clean. So I like to just provide it with that extra data if I can. And then I'm going to type in remove objects, general prompt. Okay, it's almost done. And there we go. They're gone. The tree still looks normal. You could see a little bit of a weird shadow there. So I'm going to try. Honestly, I think the first one's fine. That little shadow, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. To some perfectionists it might. So for you guys, I'll circle just that, remove shadow object. Okay, and so I removed that little shadow and now it's looking 100% clean. It's looking really good. You could even go further and get rid of these cars in the back and just clean up the whole street. This was just kind of a little example. I already photoshopped this photo for the agent. So this was just purely an example. I'm not delivering this one, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys some different examples here of how literally anybody now can become a Photoshop professional because it requires no actual work. It does it all for you. It's all AI. And it's so cool to see how easy it is now. And I can delegate less tasks to my editor because I can handle them in a matter of seconds. Photoshop AI overall has been one of my favorite tools. It is absolutely incredible, and I look forward to creating more content with Photoshop AI as they add more features and as it becomes even more capable. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure to stay tuned to the channel for other tutorials, drone videos, tech videos, you name it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.